Welcome back to the channel. Today we will travel through the pages of What If Issei Awakened the Boosted Gear Early Part 7. The link to the story will be in the description below, and if you want an update of the current series, join the Discord. Now let's start. Chapter 26, The Face That Pains Her Heart. Ria's I'm coming to save you. Ria's awoke from her slumber in a wild panic. The events of her day yesterday mostly clouded, only remembering her brother coming to visit the occult research room, which for some reason was a mess. Ryu told her that a tree had fell and smashed through the roof, and that is why she became unconscious after a branch hit her in the head. But the conversation she had with her older brother still haunted her mind. Flashback, big brother. What brings you here? Ria said as her brother emerged through his magic circle with his queen Graphia. The date Urias, Zenobia, Kiba, Asia and oh who's this? Surzicha said with a puzzled expression when he pointed towards Ryu. What are you talking about, big brother? Don't be silly, you know Ryu. He is my precious pawn after all. Ria said, smiling whilst she showed off her favorite piece. Oh, I see now. So you and Issei had your first fight, so now you're threatening to replace him. My goodness, you really are still a normal teenage girl, little sister. Surzicha said with a joyous expression. What are you talking about, big brother? Ryu is my only pawn, he used all 8 of my pieces. Ria said, which made Surzicha look serious now as he looked at Ryu. So you don't know anybody by the name of Haidu Issei? Surzicha said, making Ria's have a severe headache. 10 times as worse than if she accidentally read a Bible. Ria's, what's the matter, talk to me. Surzicha said, quickly rushing to her side only to be stopped by Ryu. Calm down, Lord Surzicha, I will take care of her. Ryu said after whispering in her ear to make her lose consciousness. And then everything went black. End of flashback. Ria's hugged her naked and sweaty body as she reminisced on such a horrifying memory. Her head began to hurt every time she attempted to remember anything before her brother arrived. It was as if she was being denied access to her own mind. Ria suddenly felt lonely when she felt the covers next to her, feeling that something wasn't right. The crimson-haired teen felt scared all of a sudden and approached Ryu's room, which was just opposite her own. The ruined princess approached Ryu, who was sound asleep in his bed with his back turned away from her. Ria's approached his bed and climbed into the bed behind him. Suddenly, after Ria's wrapped her arms around his waist, she immediately retracted them and felt a huge sense of fear. For as soon as she touched him, a green dragon appeared in her head and his back felt cold as ice. Ria's felt something was definitely wrong now. After all, this is the man she loved, so why was she so afraid of him? When Ria's went to leave his room, she felt a hand grab onto her wrist. What's wrong, Ria's, you look troubled. Ryu said in a gentle voice, making Ria's calm down. I'm sorry, Ryu, I just had a bad dream and I wanted to see you. Ria said with a blush, feeling embarrassed to tell him the truth. Don't worry, Ria's, you're safe with me. Ryu said as he placed his hand on her cheek and leaned in for a kiss. Ria's didn't expect what happened next when she found herself pushing him away as he tried to kiss her. I'm sorry for waking you, good night. Ria's said as she retreated from the room. Ria's entered her room again and ended up tumbling over a chair which had her school bag on it, causing the bag to fall onto the ground as well. I need to calm down and get some sleep. Ria said as she began to pack her belongings back inside the bag. Ria's fatigue was evident when she dropped her purse again, scattering her special cards and a photograph upside down. The Demon Lord's little sister used what was left of her energy to pick up the cards. However, she stopped to focus on the small photo after she collected her cards up. Did I have a photo in my purse all this time without knowing what it was of? Ria said as she picked it up and slowly turned it over. Suddenly, Ria's eyes shot wide open as she saw a brown-haired teen's face as he smiled with his thumb up. Ria's touched her cheeks when she felt something wet running down them. Hey. Why am I crying? I don't even know this boy's name, but this photo makes my heart and my head hurt so much. Ria said as she placed it back in her purse. The upset devil climbed back into bed and hugged her pillow, feeling that her tears would never stop as she tightly clung to her pillows. Meanwhile, at the Haidu household, Issei was still resting in bed on account of his injuries and his lost magic power. I thought I would find you here. A voice said, making Issei open his eyes immediately. Surzicha's. Graphia. Issei said as he stared at the Demon Lord and his queen, you've certainly seen better days, Nightwing. Surzicha said, making Issei a bit annoyed. How many times have I told you not to call me that? Wait a minute, then that means you remember me, Lord Surzicha's, Issei said, the excitement obvious in his tone. Yes. But it seems that many others have seemed to forget you. What's going on? Surzicha said as Issei sat himself up. That bastard Ryu, he has erased me from the rest of the peerage's memories. His sacred gear is memory manipulation. Issei said, making Surzicha frustrated all of a sudden. Then that means the one who promised me he would take care of my sister was responsible for her pain, Surzicha said as her eyes is transforming now. Calm down, Lord Surzicha, Issei will definitely save Ria's. Isn't that right? Graphia said, now looking at Issei. Of course I will, I'm not going to give up on her. I swear to you, Lord Surziches, I will bring her back to her senses and make that scumbag pay for attacking the Grimoires. Issei said, making Surziches smile. Well, you won't be able to do anything in your condition. It's a good thing that I brought Graphia along with me then. Graphia, please tend to Issei's wounds and start restoring his magic power. Surziches said, causing Graphia to open a magic circle and pull out a strange device. This won't be as fast as Asia's twilight healing, but it will help restore your wounds and your magic power. You should be good to go by tomorrow evening. And when you're ready to go, we will take action and save Rias. Graphia said, pressing the button and encasing Issei in a healing oval-shaped bubble which shined a majestic purple. Akeno, Kaneko and Gasper re-entered Issei's room and began to discuss a plan of action. So what's the plan, Security? Graphia said, expecting Issei to have one already. Okay, in order to save Rias, we have to work together. First, I would like Surziches and Graphia to seal off Kiba, Zenobia and Asia so they don't get hurt in the crossfire. Meanwhile me, Akeno, Kaneko and Gasper will take on Ryu and Rias. Issei said, making Akeno speak up. Issei-kun, I think it would be best if you left Rias to me. I don't think you would be able to fight her seriously. And besides, while I keep Rias busy, you, Kaneko and Gasper can focus on Ryu and his dragon. Akeno said, making Issei worry. But isn't Rias your best friend? I couldn't force you to fight her either. Issei said, feeling concerned. She is my best friend. That is why I will personally remind her of the great things about Issei-kun. I believe it is my duty as her best friend to see to it she doesn't lose an important person in her life and to replace them with a jerk like Ryu. I feel I can do it. Akeno said, brimming with confidence. I see. Then I will leave Rias to you. Thank you, Akeno. Issei said, feeling happy. There is no need to thank me, I owe a lot to you for saving me. And I also owe it to Rias to make sure she stays happy. Akeno said with a blush and a smile. The next day flew by in a flash and now scale mail equipped, Issei, Akeno, Gasper and Kaneko transported to the battlefield at Kuo Academy. The four devils arrived on the scene and as expected, Rias, Ryu and his dragon were there waiting. Akeno, Kaneko, Gasper, what's going on here? Why are you helping the Security? Has he brainwashed you? Rias said, starting to get emotional. Akeno concentrated her magic power and transformed into her Maiko outfit. The only one here who has been brainwashed, Rias, is you. That man has messed with your mind and taken away from you the most precious thing to you. Akeno said, making Rias look shocked as she placed her hand over heart. What are you saying, Akeno? Ryu is the one I love. Rias said in a hesitant tone. Don't worry, President Rias, I will remind you of the man you truly love. Here I come. Akeno said as she opened up both her devil wing and her fallen angel wing as she soared into the air, generating lighting within her palms as she stared down at Rias. Chapter 27 The Priestess of Lightning vs the Ruined Princess. Rias shot into the air with her devil wings now deployed. Following after Akeno, who was now preparing to attack. Snap out of it, Akeno. You're being lied to by the Security. Rias said, feeling hesitant to fight her queen. However, this had the opposite effect and instead angered Akeno. The one who needs to wake up Rias is you. Akeno shouted as she fired lightning at her master. Rias took evasive action and managed to avoid Akeno's attack just in time. Akeno, why are you doing this? Aren't we best friends? Rias said, still refusing to fight back. Yes, that's right, Rias. You're my best friend. But that is why I will not let you be led astray by that man. Akeno said, firing another attack at Rias. Once again Rias managed to dodge the magic attack. But Akeno was now concentrating her power ready for another attack. Rias was unable to dodge the next strike as the lightning shot down from the skies above. Instead, Rias had no choice but to deploy a defensive magic circle. Akeno yelled as she tried to break through Rias' shield. What are you doing, Akeno? Stop this now. If the Security is that powerful, we will beat him together. Rias said, suddenly feeling Akeno's attack getting stronger. Let me ask you something, Rias. Who was it who crashed your engagement party and stopped you marrying Razor Phoenix? Akeno said, making Rias shocked, the answer being obvious to her. Well, that's obvious. It was Ryu, Rias said, suddenly getting cut off by Akeno. Wrong. It was Issei-kun. Akeno said, this time breaking through Rias' magic circle. Rias began to fall, but Akeno was on her again. Who was it that saved us all and defeated Kakabiel? Akeno said, striking Rias again with her lightning. Once again Rias was cut off by the irritated Akeno. Wrong. It was Issei-kun. Akeno said, chasing after Rias, who pulled up away from the magic attack. I don't even know who that is. Rias said, showing clear signs that Ryu's sacred gear had warped more of her mind. Who confessed his feelings to you and promised to protect you? Who also treats you just as Rias and not as the heir to the Grimoires? I will answer it for you. It was Issei-kun. He is always trying to protect you. And even now, he is still trying to save you. Even though you don't remember him. Akeno said with tears streaming down her cheeks. Like I said, I don't know anybody by that name. Ria said, finally firing some magic back Akeno's way. Akeno easily dodged it and deployed another magic circle. You need to cool down and think. Akeno said, unleashing a water attack, this time on the Crimson Princess. Ria's was hit directly by the water blast and now began to get irritated. Whilst Akeno and Ria's continued to fight, Issei commenced his plan. Leaving Yulong to Gasper and Kaneko, who were continuously stopping time for the dragon and striking him whilst he held still. Gaspy. Yes, leave it to me. Gasper said, making the dragon turn purple again. Kaneko delivered powerful punches to the dragon's head and stomach. However, every time the dragon's perspective of time was restored, it showed no signs of injury. Meanwhile, Issei and Ryu were at a standoff. So it's time to settle things, Red Dragon Emperor. Ryu said, activating his magic power. It won't go anywhere near as well for you this time than it did last time. Last time you caught me off guard. But now my resolve is clear. So I will take you down and save Rias. Issei said, charging straight towards Ryu now. Issei landed a perfect blow on the foe he was determined to defeat. However, his punch seemed to show no signs of damage. What's this? Issei said, clearly confused. It's a skill I created myself. I surround myself in magic power and as a result, it works as a shield to guard my body while I fight. Ryu said, his body now being surrounded in a jade aura. Well then, if that's the case, I will just have to hit you harder. Issei said, charging again. Boost. 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 Here I come. Issei yelled, resuming the fight. Meanwhile, in the skies above, the battle between king and queen was still underway. You dare to defy your master after all of this time, Akeno? You turn your back on the Grimoires for the Cows Brigade, Ria said, now surrounding herself in an ominous red aura. Says the one who forgot one of her most precious servants. Rias, you idiot. Akeno screamed, trying to catch her again. Rias and Akeno both fired their magic power at each other continuously, to the point where they came to a standstill. Rias, listen to me. Ryu is lying to you. He has altered your memories to make you think he is who he says he is. The Securite is not the enemy. Akeno said as she tried to catch her breath. What are you saying, Akeno? Ryu has been with us since the beginning. He's the most important person to me. Ria said as she also tried to regain her composure. Oh really? So are you saying you would die for him? Of course. Would you stand by him even if everyone turned against him? Absolutely. Would you trust him completely, both body and heart? Would you give him everything you possess? Akeno said, making Rias hesitate this time. After Akeno said what she said, Rias began to reminisce when she tried to snuggle up to him but felt he was cold as ice. And when he tried to kiss her. When part of her mind said get away and her heart pained her deeply. Well, why yes. Ria said, showing clearly to Akeno the voice of her heart. See, even you are having doubts. Admit it, you don't trust Ryu completely. And that's not all, you know that you have forgotten something very important to you. Akeno said, making Ria's eyes shoot wide open. Shut up. I will protect Ryu with my life. Ria said, not aware of the demonic blast coming her way. Ria's, look out. Akeno shouted to the devil, who only had time to see the blast. Ria's panicked as she knew that it was too late to defend herself. So she braced for the impact. However, Ria's wasn't hurt in the slightest by the attack. As a tall armored red figure just deflected the attack and now stood in front of her like a shield. Damn you, Ryu. How dare you do that to Ria's? I'll kill you. Issei shouted as he shot back down to the ground and finally landed a perfect punch thanks to his rage increasing his strength. Rias was frozen for a second, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Why did the enemy protect her? You see. Ryu just tried to kill you just now. Akeno said, now making Ria's eyes turn red. That's enough. Even if you are my best friend. Akeno, I won't let you speak badly of Ryu anymore. Ria said, firing a powerful destructive force at Akeno. Akeno managed to dodge the attack just in time. But now she was infuriated. You're so stupid, Rias. How dare you protect the man who just tried to kill you? Does your life mean that little to you? Akeno said, being surrounded in lightning now. Rias was stunned for a second as she rarely saw Akeno get this angry. This wasn't her usual sadistic side, this was true burning rage in her eyes. But Rias was also very angry. Infuriated that Akeno was so stubborn and would not listen to reason. Suddenly, Rias heard a gentle voice inside her head. "Rias, can you hear me? Ryu, that's right, it's me. I'm sorry but it's too late to save Akeno." "That's not true. I can save her," Rias said, making Ryu angry. "Obey me. And kill Akeno Himejima," Ryu said, making Rias cry out as she held her head in agony. "So it's not just memory manipulation now, you've gotten inside of Ria's head now," Akeno said, feeling very angry. But her anger subsided in an instant when Rias stopped screaming and now seemed both calm and almost robotic. "Hey Akeno. Remember when you asked me before if I would stand by Ryu even if everyone was against him? Well, I'm going to prove it to you through actions. Since your mind won't listen to me," Rias said, firing a massive destructive force at Akeno, causing her to fall like a raindrop in the clouds. "Akeno-san," Issei shouted as he launched himself from the ground and caught her. "Issei-kun. Are you okay, Akeno? Are you hurt?" Issei asked, trying not to move her too much. "Don't worry, I'm fine." But Rias. She's being completely brainwashed now. He's got inside her head. "Issei-kun, please save the president," Akeno said in tears as she clutched onto Issei's armored arm. "I've got it, Akeno," Issei said, placing her gently down on the floor so she could rest. Suddenly, Issei's conversation was interrupted when Kaneko and Gasper were sent flying by Yulong's mighty tail. "Kaneko-chan. Gasper?" Issei said as they now lay on the floor in front of him. "What have you done to them?" Issei shouted, his eyes filled with fury. "I made them take a nap. They were annoying me so I finished them," Yulong said in an evil cackle. "Damn you." Kaneko and Gasper suddenly showed signs of life as they picked themselves off the ground. "Kaneko-chan," Issei said, trying to help her up. "Issei-senpai, don't worry, we'll be alright. Just take him down and save the president. Let's go, Gaspy," Kaneko said as Gasper too stood up. "You can count on me, Issei-senpai. I'm a man too," Gasper said as he and Kaneko raced off to fight the dragon again. Issei got to his feet, also accepting the resolve of his comrades, and aimed to fulfill his promise to them. "I will make you pay for what you have done to my comrades." "To Rias," Issei said as he once again powered himself up. Boost. 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 Here goes. Dragon shot. Issei roared as an immense crimson light shot from his gauntlet. The blast caused a massive explosion and created a smoke screen. When the smoke eventually blew away, Issei wasn't surprised with what he saw. "Rias," he simply said to the girl who protected Ryu with a heavy-duty magic circle. "I won't let you hurt my precious servant. He means everything to me," Rias said with tears leaking from her eyes. Those words stung Issei pretty badly. However, he did not let them get to him as he slowly walked towards the ruined princess. Showing no signs of hostility with his armor equipped. He had only thing going through his mind that he was about to say. "Rias," Issei said, making Rias look at the security with his face hidden. "I promised you before and I intend to keep that promise. Again and again, I will come to save you." Chapter 28, The Heart of a Dragon. "Please stay back, Ryu. I'll handle the security," Rias said with her eyes changing to a ruby shade. "I should have known you would do this, Rias. After all, you care about your servants more than anything else in the world," Issei said as he began to walk towards her. "Are you mocking me?" Rias said, summoning her destructive power and directed it straight at Issei. "Of course not, Rias. That's what I love about you," Issei said, making Rias angry. "Shut up," Rias screamed as she launched her attack. The crimson blast was a direct hit, causing Issei's scale mail to slightly crack. Rias was both stunned and confused after the security, who proved to have significant speed, refused to dodge her and attack her head-on. No, he just proceeded along the path towards her. "I won't let you hurt Ryu, you monster," Rias said, making Issei hurt a bit. "I know you won't, Rias. But don't worry, I'm going to save you now," Issei said, being hit by another proportions of Rias' power. "Stay back, security. Take another step further and I will destroy you," Rias said, her power beginning to increase in response to her building rage. "I promise to not turn away from you when you are suffering so much, President. After all, I'm your pawn," Issei said, moments away from her now as her feet stayed planted on the spot. "I told you to stay back," Rhea screamed, this time unleashing a more powerful blast at the Red Dragon Emperor. Once the smoke cleared, Rhea could see that the Red Dragon Emperor's armor was almost destroyed, the helmet being the exception. But despite this, he still continued to approach her. Issei was a few steps away from Rhea's now, and this caused the crimson-haired girl to greatly panic. "Get away from me." She screamed, aiming a half-powered blast at his head. The attack was successful in destroying Issei's last piece of armor. However, Rhea's now froze as the fragments of the Red Dragon Emperor's helmet fell to the floor. Rhea's POV, my body froze. No, to be more accurate, it was as if my whole body was forcing me to not make another move when I destroyed the helmet. Next, my chest began to heat up, and before I knew it, tears started streaming down my cheeks when his face was revealed. His scruffy brown hair. His hazel eyes which stared directly at me. But not with resentment or disgust, no, it was more like a look of kindness and warmth. He smiled at me and stopped walking when he finally reached me. My heart began to beat rapidly, remembering the previous night when I saw that photo I held in my purse. It was then I realized that this individual was the same as the boy in the picture I possess. My feelings of fear and hatred suddenly disappeared and were replaced with new emotions. Happiness and desperation. I was happy to see this man, but I was desperate to find out who he was to me and why. By looking at his face alone, does my heart begin to beat faster and bring out a warmth inside of me. Suddenly, he wrapped his arms around me and pulled me towards his chest, holding the back of my head gently as he embraced me. My heart was going crazy as he hugged me close to him. I didn't know why, but when he wrapped his arms around me, I felt as if all the loneliness I experienced was because of this man being gone. But I love Ryu, don't I? So how could this be true? That's right, he is Ryu's enemy. He is going to try kill my precious servant. I have to break away. As my mind failed to comprehend what my heart was feeling, he broke my confusion when he gently spoke those words to me. "I'm sorry to let you suffer alone for so long, Rias. But don't worry, everything is going to be okay now," the boy said, making my face redden and more tears leak out from my eyes. My body was operating as if it had a mind of its own. My arms began to put themselves around him, wanting to hold him as gently as he held me. And as he held me, I felt such happiness but at the same time sadness that I couldn't remember such a gentle person's name. Normal POV. Suddenly, Issei pushed Rias away from his arms and then tilted his head back as he cried out in pain. Rias was shocked when she saw what appeared to be a dragon's claw piercing through the boy's chest. A puddle of blood was formed on the ground as it rapidly spilled from Issei's torso when the dragon extracted the one sharp nail that was impaling him from his abdomen. "Ha ha. Again that idiot let his guard down around a woman. What a fool," Yulong said whilst he cackled. Rias rushed to Issei's side with a sudden urge to see if he was okay, despite her mind not knowing why. Whilst Kaneko and Gasper chased off Yulong. "Hey, are you okay?" Rias asked in a panic. "Thank goodness." "Huh? Thank goodness you're not hurt, Rias," Issei said as he caressed her cheek with his hand. "Why did you do that? Why did you protect me when I tried to kill you?" Rias said, crying as she stared at him. Issei didn't say another word, smiling as his hand that was on her cheek suddenly fell to the floor. "Hey, are you okay? Hang in there," Rias said when suddenly something caught her attention. A photograph was sticking out of the brown-haired boy's shirt pocket when the wind began to increase. When Rias removed the photograph and examined it, her expression went from sadness to despair at the first sight of the picture. It was a picture of her and Issei in the clubroom. Her arms were gently wrapped around the back of Issei's neck and she was kissing him on the cheek from behind the sofa whilst he sat there smiling. All of a sudden, memories began to rush into Ria's mind and the pain was unbearable. The shadowed figure that transformed to Ryu after he manipulated her mind further now changed to the brown-haired teen who lay on the ground in critical condition. Memories with Issei's fight with Razor when he crashed her engagement party began to pierce her brain. The pain increased with every memory that began to become clear. And then, she began to hear one name. That one name that she always called out with love and care for when she saw him. At this very moment, that one name was all that came to Ria's mind as the boy closed his eyes and began to show his life was in danger. Issei. Issei. I remember now. How could I forget such an important person to me? Ria screamed, holding his head in her chest now. This is bad. His breathing is very faint. I have to call Asia here immediately. Ria said, suddenly freezing in place when she saw that what is most precious to her be sent flying from her grasp. Good job holding him still, Rias. Don't worry, I will now rid this nuisance from your life. Ryu said as he walked past her and towards the defenseless devil. All Rias could do was watch as her boyfriend was trampled on. Her legs showing no signs of movement. I've been waiting a long time for this, Haidu, Issei. Ryu said, stepping directly on Issei's battle wound. Ah. Issei cried out, being woken up through intense pain. All is going just as I planned. First I will kill the disciple of Lord Surzich's. And then I will kill his little sister right in front of him whilst she willingly lets me. You bastard. What do you want with Rias? Issei said, suddenly coughing out blood when Ryu stepped on him again. It's useless, Akirite, you can't stop me now. But as you're about to die, I will tell you what I want. It's quite simple really. I want Surzich's head. The Demon Lord's head. Just what is your objective? Issei said through painful breaths. You really haven't figured it out yet. Man, you're stupid. I'm not just some pathetic lower-class devil like you. I'm from the old Satan faction. And I am going to take yours and Ria's heads in order to draw out the Demon Lord himself so we can overthrow him and bring the underworld back to its former glory. Ryu said, revealing his true origin. You bastard. I won't let you. Issei began to say but was once again pushed to the ground by Ryu's foot. You're an idiot. You really think you can stop us in that condition? I used Rias to distract you long enough so you long could strike a fatal blow on you. I knew you would be too pathetic and protect that worthless girl. You would have been better off if you would have taken my offer to end your life before. Ryu said this, digging his finger inside of Issei's open wound. Issei cried out in immense pain and Rias finally found her strength to stand up. Once I kill you, I'm going to kill her next. And then the old Satan faction will kill all of your friends and there is nothing you can do about it, Sekirite. Ryu said this, plunging his fist into the wound. Suddenly, Rias shoved Ryu away from Issei and shielded him with her body. Stop hurting Issei, you bastard. Or I'll kill you. Rias said, generating an ominous aura. So you've decided to betray me, Rias? Well, it's already too late. No matter what you do now, he's going to die. Ryu said with an evil cackle. If Issei is going to die, then I will disappear with him. Rias screamed at the villain as he laughed at her. Very well then. Ryu said as he reached out to grab her. Ah. Deep in the subconscious of Issei's sacred gear. Issei found himself in a blank void and realized immediately where he was. It was a place he visited before when he was achieving Balance Breaker. The Red Dragon Emperor looked ahead and saw a long table with red, glowing what appeared to be the ancestors of his sacred gear. What are you doing, kid? It's time to use Juggernaut Overdrive. If you don't, you're definitely going to die. The first spirit said. He's right, it's time to unleash the true power of the Welsh dragon. Another said, making Issei realize that they were right until another voice spoke up. Pathetic. As expected of my ancestors' rivals. All greedy for power and destruction. Always walking down the path of ruin. But you're different, Haidu, Issei. Wait a second, you're the spirit of Albion, yes. When you absorbed my power, I merged with your sacred gear, so now I can communicate with you and make sure you don't make the same mistake these idiots did. But they're right, aren't they? My body is dying fast and Asia isn't there to help me either. The Juggernaut drive will transform me into a dragon. But at least I can save Rias and the others. And do you think she is going to be satisfied with you leaving her? Do you seriously plan to crush her heart and throw away your life? No, what are you talking about? You have something that can save you. Didn't you say that you would never use that power because you were afraid of the consequences? Yes, of course I'm afraid to use this power. But what else can I do? Drake said it before, remember? You are a man who has proven to be able to defy the impossible. So if you don't want to use that power, reject it. Make your own power to get rid of that power. Stand up, Haidu, Issei. You have to get stronger so Volley can continue to grow. The spirit said, making the white void vanish and become nothing but darkness. As Issei was standing alone in the darkness, he saw a bright crimson light appear before him. Issei. Hang in there. A voice called out, making Issei focus on it. Rias. She's calling to me. She's in trouble. Get up. Move body. I swear, Rias. I will protect you. Suddenly, Ryu was experiencing tremendous pain when he touched Rias Gremory's shoulder. Let go of her. The voice said, making Rias turn around. Didn't you hear me, Ryu? I said let go of her, you bastard. Issei shouted, almost breaking Ryu's arm with his intense force. Impossible. How are you still alive? Ryu said, feeling very confused right now until Issei held up an object. Phoenix tears, that's right, a little present from Rias the day after my battle with Kakabiel. I just remembered them. She left them in my pocket before she went to school. And now I'm going to protect her until my last breath. Issei. Rias said with tears in her eyes. It sounds like you've come to your senses, Rias. Just hold on a second, I will finish this quickly. Issei said, smiling at her. Suddenly, Issei's body was surrounded in a crimson aura when he activated his balance breaker again. Oh? So you plan to use the Juggernaut drive after all? No. I refuse to use that form. Instead, I will create my own form. To protect the girl I love. Issei said, generating an even more powerful aura. What's going on? Ryu shouted as Issei's power began to rise. I, who is about to awaken, am the Red Dragon Emperor who has discarded the principles of domination. I shall walk the road of righteousness by having infinite hopes and dreams. I shall become the king of Crimson Dragon. And I promise you all. I shall show you the future which shines in true crimson light. Issei chanted, causing a huge beam of crimson light to shoot out of all the gems on his scale mail. What the hell is that form? It's completely different from Juggernaut Drive. Ryu said, feeling both confused and intimidated of Issei's awakened power. My armor has now changed from red to crimson. It's the color of the girl I love's hair. I call it Cardinal Crimson Promotion. Also known as the true Crimson Dragon Emperor form. Issei said as the crimson light dimmed down. Suddenly, Ryu was sent hurtling through the air when Issei vanished in an instant and punched him, breaking his so-called shield into pieces. That was so fast. How did you do that? Ryu said, clearly spooked now. Ryu Tatsuo. The real fight starts now. Issei said, ready to show his new power's capabilities. Chapter 29. This ends now. I won't let anyone take you away from me. Ryu backed away after the startling blow he just suffered from Issei. You won't escape. Issei shouted, charging straight for him. You're too slow. Ryu shouted as he arrogantly closed his eyes whilst he evaded the attack. A second later, Ryu experienced agonizing pain when a powerful elbow hit the back of his neck, followed by a gut-wrenching kick. Ryu coughed out blood, unaware the attack before was going to be a feint. You'd be wise not to take your eyes off your opponent. Issei said, following his kick with a deadly uppercut. Ryu was sent flying, but he quickly recovered and landed on his feet. The Cow's Brigade member wiped the blood from his cheek and suddenly became enraged. How dare you? You bastard, how dare you do this to an old Satan, you low-class son of a bitch. Ryu said, clenching his blood-stained fist. That's nothing compared to the pain you put the girl I love through. Issei said, emitting a fierce crimson aura. Don't get cocky, Haidu Issei. You have no idea of the power I possess. Yulong. We're doing it. Ryu said, alerting Yulong from his fight with Kaneko and Gasper. Ah, what a pain in the ass. But I want to put this damn drag in his place. Yulong said, taking flight and moving towards Ryu. Yulong transformed himself into an emerald light ball and collided straight into the devil. Issei had to dig his feet deep into the ground to prevent himself from being blown away by the magnificent force that originated from the colossal tower of power that swallowed up Ryu Tatsuo whole. Once the blinding light vanished, a completely transformed Ryu emerged from the jade-colored light. Issei stared intently at Ryu's new form, preparing for whatever surprise he had in store for him. The fearsome foe, after combining his strength and power with the great Dragon King, now wore a shining green dragon-shaped suit of armor. This attire was completely different to Issei's kind of armor. For instance, Ryu's armor was covered in the spikes of Yulong's back, covering his arms, his legs and his new tail. His helmet gave off the impression that he was inside a dragon's mouth, as the headgear looked like a dragon with its mouth wide open. It wasn't just the armor, Ryu now was armed with a long maleficent sword and a shield embedded with dragon scales. So, this is your true power then? Issei said, preparing to fight. Yes, Haidu Issei, tremble in fear of the power of a true dragon user. Ryu said, now submerged in a powerful aura. Issei was beginning to grow tired of this guy's attitude and as a result, did not hesitate. Firing a dragon shot at the arrogant being in an attempt to shut him up once and for all. A great explosion occurred when the attack made contact with Ryu, and it looked as if the blast was successful. Or so it seemed. Once the smoke cleared, Issei's confidence took a turn for the worse when Ryu Tatsuo emerged from it without a scratch on him. His shield being the obvious reason his attack was rendered useless. It's useless, my shield is encased with the formidable scales of a great dragon king. You will have to do much better than that to even scratch its mighty exterior. Ryu said as he raised his sword to the sky. Then I guess I'll just have to hit you harder. Issei shouted whilst his opponent's sword began to glow a shining jade. Oh, by the way, did I forget to tell you? Whilst you and I have been fighting, all of Ria's magic power has been absorbed by me. And I will use it now to destroy her once and for all. Ryu said as he behaved like a maniac. Don't you dare. Issei shouted as his power began to soar. Ha ha. Sayonara, Demon Lord Sister. Emerald Blaster. Ryu shouted as he slashed down with his sword, unleashing a slash which developed into a deadly blast. Rias. Issei shouted as he dashed to intercept. Issei, what are you doing? Ria said as she knelt down on the floor after collapsing from losing so much magic power. Don't worry, Rias, I swear I will protect you. Issei said with his arms outstretched ready for impact. But if that hits you, who knows what will happen. Believe in me, Rias. I have a plan. Drake, I'm counting on you. Issei said with Drake immediately responding. Sure. I'm ready when you are, partner. Drake responded. Drake, transfer all of my speed and add it to my defense. Issei shouted him using the dragon that dwelled within him. Interesting, you never fail to surprise me, partner. Drake said as he responded to his partner's will. Die Securite. Ryu shouted when the blast was moments from making impact. Change complete. Transfer over. Drake said when the blast hit them, directly immersing them in a green light. It's over. Ryu shouted as he slashed down on Issei under the cover of the smoke. Ryu's look of arrogance and confidence quickly faded. After the luminous cover lifted and he saw his attack was completely worthless. What the hell did you just do? How did you block my attack? Ryu questioned as he gazed upon Issei's new form. Change complete. Welsh Dragonic Rook. Solid impact. Drake said Issei's armor completely transformed. His armor was now more fortified and his scaled hand was gripping onto Ryu's sword. Solid impact. Issei shouted, smashing his newly strengthened and powered dynamic fist through Ryu's previously believed indestructible shield into pieces. Impossible. Ryu said as he maneuvered out of Issei's grip and backed away several steps. Drake. Now I need you to transfer all of my defense and switch it to my speed instead. Issei said with Drake automatically complying. I got it, leave it to me. Drake said as Issei's chest began to glow in a crimson aura again. Connecting to evil pieces. Armor release. Which caused all but the absolute minimum armor to be shed in order to reduce weight. The armor then morphed into a more aerodynamic form, after which Drake announced. Welsh Dragon Mode change. Sonic Boost Night. Change Star Sonic. Drake shouted Issei's next transformation now complete. What an idiot. You abandoned your defense for just a little more speed, Ryu said, startled by what he saw next. Ascalon. Blade. Issei darted towards Ryu like a bolt of lightning and collided with his sword. What the hell? Just how much faster did you get? Well, no matter, you are no match for my sword. That blade is nothing. Compared to my Ascalon. Issei said, suddenly disappearing. Ryu found himself being attacked from every direction as Issei darted through his defenses. Demolishing fragments of his armor whilst he attacked him. This is the end. Star Sonic Booster. Issei shouted, increasing his speed even further. Ryu was completely taken by surprise when his sword was completely smashed, leaving only the handle left. How the hell did you get even faster? This is what I like to call God speed. And now this is the end for you. Issei said, transforming his armor back to cardinal crimson form. Ryu's look of anger and irritation suddenly shifted to one of a smirk, as if he was scheming something. You're right, that is certainly an impressive power. I think I will take it for a spin myself. You long do it now. Ryu shouted, making the eyes on his dragon helmet glow yellow. I really despise the thought of copying that piece of shit Drake's power, but I really want to put this punk in his place. Yu Long said, suddenly summoning forth a tower of emerald flames. You really have no idea when to quit. Let's end this now. Issei said as the flames began to die down. Cardinal Emerald Overdrive. Yu Long said. Now Ryu was wearing armor completely identical to Issei's. This is amazing. I can feel the power coursing through my veins. I will finally extinguish your weak flame now. Ryu said as emerald flames danced around him. You think just because you copied my power you now have a chance to win? Well, you're wrong. You may have my armor now, but your pathetic replica is nothing compared to my crimson power. Which was brought out by the love I hold inside me for Ria's Gremory. Issei shouted, crimson flames increasing further in size. Talk all you want, your pathetic bond with the Demon Lord's little sister is nothing compared to true power. Then I will show you how strong my bond really is. Issei said, increasing his power even further. Boost. 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 You're the one thinking wrong here. Your power, unlike mine, has a limit. Issei said as the two began to fight again. I'll show you who has a limit. I've always wanted to try this. Dragon Shot. Ryu said, shooting a blast similar to Issei's own attack. You are no match for the original. Dragon Shot. Issei shouted, firing a crimson dragon shot to collide with Ryu's Emerald One. The blasts collided and exploded on collision with one another. The dragon warriors then charged each other. Fighting to the death savagely. Issei and Ryu both coughed up blood as they both dealt mighty blows to one another. You really think you can save her? Ryu said, making Issei angry. Of course I can. Issei said, making Ryu laugh. That reminds me, I have never seen her naked form. So let's change that. I have touched her several times today. And now I'm going to take advantage of that. Dress break. Ryu said, snapping his fingers and making the poor girl shriek. You bastard. Issei shouted, punching him so hard that he was sent flying off into the distance. Rias, are you okay? Issei said, noticing she was hunched over. Issei. I'm so embarrassed right now. Ria said, suddenly changing her mood when Issei hugged her and emitted his crimson aura. Riaz became surprised but flattered at the same time when she looked down below and realized that she was no longer exposed. Because thanks to Issei's unusual but practical talent, Riaz was now being hugged by well-crafted dragon-scale underwear. "Thank you, Issei," Riaz said with a blush, unable to say anything else. "It's okay, just sit tight. I'll end this quickly." "Ryu. How dare you? You bastard. You have disgraced both my master and the woman I love for the last time. I will kill you now," Issei said, now being enveloped again in a bright crimson light. "Mode change, Welsh Dragon Cardinal Crimson Queen," Drake said as Issei's power continued to increase. "Here I come," Issei shouted, darting straight towards the airborne enemy. "President. Are you okay?" a voice said, making Riaz turn her head. "Udo. What are you doing here?" Riaz said, very confused. "Isn't that obvious? I'm here to cheer on Issei-kun in his fight," Kiba said, making Riaz relieved. "Your memories have returned," Riaz said, starting to feel better. "Yes. I'm ashamed that after all Issei-kun has done for me, that I turned my back on him. If it wasn't for your brother, me, Asia and Zenobia would still be under Ryu Tatsuo's spell," Kiba said, looking down at the ground. "Asia is here as well," Riaz said, glad to hear that Asia was back to normal as well. "Yes, she is back there helping out the vice president. Let me help you up," Kiba said, placing out his hand. "Thank you," Riaz said as she and Kiba stared up at the sky. "He's incredible, isn't he?" Kiba said as they watched two lights colliding into each other as they exploded in the sky like fireworks. "Yes, he sure is. He never fails to surprise me. It's amazing when you think just how strong he is going to become," Riaz said, staring in awe at Issei as he smashed Ryu again and again. "Well, you won't have to worry about him leaving you, President. After all, you're the source of his power," Kiba said, making Riaz smile. "You're right. Now let's watch him and be ready to welcome him back to the Grimoires," Riaz said as she and the rest of the peerage watched the fight. "Yes, President," Kiba said, ready to fight if it came to it. Issei and Ryu continued to battle in the sky, exchanging blow for blow. Punches met punches, neither succeeding in the battle. All of a sudden, Issei's power increased. "Playtime is over," Issei said, sending another punch towards Ryu. "You think that's going to hit me?" Ryu said, trying to deflect his punch. Suddenly, Issei's punch became a blur to Ryu as it smashed into his helmet. Before he could process what just happened, Ryu was hit with a combination of furious punches to his abdomen. Issei then smashed him into the ground with a reinforced blast. "Dragon shot," Issei shouted, sending Ryu hurtling towards the ground. Ryu managed to get to his feet just as Issei touched the ground himself. "Damn you, Haidu Issei. I will kill you," Ryu said, frustrated that he couldn't unlock his copied power's full potential. "The only one who is going to die here is you. After all you have done to my friends, to Riaz. I will never forgive you," Issei said, his power increasing further. "Damn you. There has to be a way I can kill you," Ryu said, suddenly interrupted by a voice. "Hey partner, there is a way you can crush this punk." "Oh really, I'm listening," Ryu said in response to the dragon. "There is a power hidden within Haidu Issei that he refuses to touch because of its incredible destructive power," Yulong said, making Ryu grin. "Then how about I unearth this power?" Ryu said, making Issei panic and get angry. "Don't you dare. Ryu Tatsuo, if you use that power, all of the city will be in danger. Just because you're too much of a coward to use it doesn't mean that I won't," Ryu said, suddenly taking flight. "Everyone get down. Welsh Dragon Bishop mode," Issei said, making his giant cannons appear on his shoulders. Ryu began to glow in a green and black flame, and his chest plate began to open up. "Long Ina Smasher," Ryu shouted as he blasted his enormous power through his chest plate. "Welsh Dragon Bishop Blaster," Issei shouted, launching the magical power from his ginormous cannons. Both of the Emerald Mega Blasts collided with one another and stopped dead in their paths. "You're not going to win, Securite. My power is far superior. And with it I will destroy you, Miss Grimoire, and everyone else in this pathetic ant's nest," Ryu said, feeling very irritated with Issei's persistence. "I won't allow that. I will fight to my very last breath," Issei said, with all of his gems glowing at once. "Boost. Boost. 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 Your power is still no match for my own. Ryu said, concentrating intensely on the blast battle, which could mean life or death to either of the two. I will use my power to defend the ones I love. So I cannot afford to lose here. Issei shouted, fragments of his armor breaking due to the force the two blasts were creating. Suddenly, Ryu summoned forth even more power, which forced Issei's companions to be sent away in the wind. Aha, now you're all alone. Ryu said, trying his hardest to surpass Issei's power. You hurt them. You hurt them. Issei shouted. The sacred gear responding to his will, firing another burst of power into Issei's bishop blaster. No. You're not going to win, Issei. Ryu shouted as he tried to exert more power. All of a sudden, Ryu found himself doing the opposite as power began to drain from him. What the hell is going on? The power you are trying to generate is rejecting you. At this rate, you will continue to grow weaker. Yulong said, making Ryu furious. That's bullshit. I'm the greatest devil alive. I will crush this bastard and his friends with ease. Ryu said, despite the pain he felt as his power began to leak outside of him and his magic began to malfunction. Meanwhile, Issei's power continued to increase. Boost. 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 I'm ending this now. Issei shouted, unleashing even more of his power to push Ryu's blast even further back. Shit. This can't be happening. Ryu shouted as he felt himself slipping. Well, it is, partner, you're going to die here. What the hell are you talking about? Ryu questioned, feeling even more power drift away. I'm sorry, buddy, but I don't plan on dying just yet. Yulong said as he extracted himself out of Ryu's body. What do you think you're doing, you traitorous bastard? Ryu said as his armor began to break apart. I told you, I don't plan on dying just yet. So I'll be on my way. Yulong said, making Ryu yell out in pain as he finally left his temporary vessel. You come back here right now, you coward. Ryu shouted as the emerald spike dragon made his getaway and flew off into the sky. Before Ryu knew what was happening, he found himself being fully consumed by the amazing power of Issei's magical power. Damn you, Ria's Gremory. Damn you, Surziches. And damn you, Haidu, Issei. I will destroy you all, I swear it. Ryu said, them being his last words as he vanished completely from this world. And with those final words, the fight was over. It's over now. Issei said as he fell to the ground. His armor breaks into pieces as his body made contact. Suddenly, Riaz, Kiba and Asia all began to hold their heads and scream out in pain. This carried on until they finally passed out. What happened to them? Akeno said, very concerned. Right now, of course. Don't worry, Riaz queen, the effects of Ryu's sacred gear has just been reversed thanks to Issei destroying him and his weapon. They should wake up as soon as their memories are fixed properly. I simply reminded them of Issei. And now their memories, which replaced Issei with Ryu, are now being corrected. Surziches said, clearing up the misunderstanding. So they're not in danger? Of course not. Thanks to Issei's bravery, they should all be just fine. Surziches said as he began to create a magic circle to transport them all to Issei's home for safety. Riaz sat bolt upright, suddenly waking from yet another nightmare. Looks like you're finally awake. Issei said, making Riaz suddenly hug him. Issei. Riaz said, wrapping her arms around him. I'm glad to see you back. Issei said, wrapping his arms around her as well. I'm just happy to be with you again. I was so scared and alone. Riaz said, making Issei suddenly clench his fists. He didn't do anything to you, did he? Issei said, making Riaz look back. No, you saved me before anything happened. I'm still pure. Riaz said, making Issei remember the stuff Ryu did to her. I won't let anyone. Issei said quietly, making Riaz listen carefully. Oh, what was that, Issei? Riaz replied, trying to hear what he was saying. Suddenly Issei placed his hands on Ria's shoulders and looked her straight in the eyes. I won't let anyone else steal it. Issei said, slipping his tongue into her mouth, and pushed her down onto the bed. Lemon scene incoming. Read at your own discretion. Issei kissed Riaz passionately and only stopped to let her take a breather. Issei suddenly took Riaz by surprise when he ripped Ria's white striped school top open, scattering the buttons onto the floor. He then tore off her crimson red bra, releasing her captive breasts. Issei, what if somebody comes in? Riaz said, suddenly replacing her words with sounds of pleasure when Issei began to fondle her boobs. I won't let anyone interrupt us this time, Riaz. Issei said, casting his dragon shell enchantment on the bedroom door. Issei began to increase Ria's rates of pleasure as he began to pinch one of her nipples whilst his tongue licked her other breast. Issei, it feels so good," Ria said as she succumbed to Issei's technique. Issei responded with Ria's plea for more, massaging both of her boobs, with both of his hands moving them up and down whilst his tongue continued to dance with hers. Ria's moaned as she enjoyed every second of this glorious occasion. The long-awaited feel she longed for from Issei was finally here and she was loving every bit of it. Issei removed his tongue from her mouth and instead trailed it down to her nipple. The brown-haired boy licked her left nipple whilst his other hand pinched her right nipple in order to increase her sense of pleasure. Issei stopped kissing Ria's breast and began to trail his tongue down her belly button instead. Ria's closed her eyes, feeling as if this was an amazing dream she never wanted to awake from. Issei removed his master's skirt, leaving only her matching red panties left in his way. Issei slowly removed Ria's underwear. "Wow, you're very wet down here, Ria's," Issei said, making Ria's respond with a blush on her face. "That's because you have been touching me so much, Issei, and it feels so good." Ria said, her head hitting the pillow behind her again when Issei began to lick and clean up her love juices as his tongue trailed the outside and inside of Ria's entrance. Ria's body began to shake, unable to take the magnitude of pleasure it was currently going through. Ria's was in paradise at this exact moment and she wanted Issei inside her now so badly. But at this precise time, Ria's felt hers and Issei's roles had been reversed, making herself feel like the servant whilst Issei assumed the role as her master. Ria's would normally prefer to make her position as Issei's master very clear. However, succumbing to Issei's pleasure and being a servant to his techniques made her feel another form of satisfaction. Issei once again kissed Ria's and then placed two of his fingers into her pussy, quickening the pace of his hand as Ria's began to moan louder. "What's wrong, Ria's? Are you not enjoying this?" Issei said, getting even faster. "Issei, I'm going crazy here. Please make me your woman. Make your mark on me and claim me as your own," Ria said, making Issei comply and plunge his sword deep into her caverns. The Red Dragon Emperor did not disappoint his master once again when he entered inside of her. As soon as Issei used her opening as a scabbard for his sword, Ria's let out a moan of pleasure to mark the power of his secret weapon. Issei lifted Ria's legs into the air and continued to quicken his pace, making the experience as perfect as possible for her. Ria's wrapped her legs around Issei's back and pulled him in for a kiss as they danced to the same rhythm. Ria's pulled Issei in close when he finally fired his dragon might right inside of her. Issei removed his blade from her, revealing its resolve to not fall too easily. Ria's eyes glimmered as she gripped its handle and began to move her hand up and down it. It was Ria's turn to assert her position on Issei when she pressed his terrific member in between her breasts, massaging it between them whilst she opened wide and prepared to consume it whole. Ria's enjoyed watching Issei make different facial expressions and she began to tease him further. "I can't take it anymore," Issei said as he overpowered Ria's and picked her up and placed her against the wall. Issei began to tunnel deeper inside her and as a result the Crimson Princess cried out even louder. After another session of pleasure and excitement was about to come to an end, Ria's pushed Issei down onto his back and took over the exercise, deciding to ride him like a cowgirl with great joy and satisfaction. Issei pushed her down once more and finished her off. Ria's face showing great pleasure and happiness when Issei and her climaxed together. "Lemon over, so does this mean I'm officially your girl now?" Ria said, resting her head on Issei's chest after a long and heavy workout. "Of course, Ria's, it has always been you. Always," Issei said, kissing her whilst they lay in bed together. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed the story, then hit the like button and comment your favorite part, but for now, see you all in the next video.